Hey guys, Last King of Limbo before BronyCon analysis daily will be out when I get back at some time, and I get back next Monday. If you're looking for the next How Not to Brony, it's on Fan and Frenzy, in fact the last two are. Or you can kick on the How Not to Brony playlist, it's the third list down. Special thanks to British Ninja and Quillstroke, who I'll see at BCE. Thank you for co-hosting. Thanks to Tricky Fox, who won't be at BCE. And thanks for Stupid Private, I hope to have you back as a co-host sometime. Later guys.
Hey Ninja.
Hey, what's up?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh, let me get mine up.
Can you hear my fan in the background, or is it too?
Here we go.
Oh, I don't really, but I'm sure I could catch it in.
Right, sweet. I'll tell you what. I'll open a window, but
Testing.
the occasional airplane might fly by.
No, that's fine.
Be right back.
Here in Britbongistan are currently going through a heat wave.
Oh, I have some political questions.
Lovely.
Yeah, not just. I was like, I feel like being problematic.
That sounds lovely.
What is today's date?
It's the 21st.
21st, solid. Take a moment of silence here to pray that Deckard Spade finally gets his artwork. I'm rooting for that because I'm in that picture.
Now, which one is this again?
The Diablo 3 one. I think I'm... Right, my OC's drawn up in the Helltooth armor.
Oh, nice.
It's been months since I've even used that stuff. That's how long ago it was. Okay, yeah, sorry for side-railing the whole thing, stupid. This is FNGR welcoming you all to Limbo Podcast. Joined by the following co-hosts. Quillstroke.
Yo.
Tricky Fox.
Guten Tag.
The British Ninja. What is that avatar, Ninja?
That is the Babadook.
Okay.
It's it's the edgiest meme you've ever seen in a long time. Basically, the with the whole Gay Pride Month, right?
Yeah.
Well, Netflix had a bunch of recommendations for gay pride movies, and one of them was this Australian horror movie called The Babadook. And it's pretty much been memed to mean that the character in my profile picture is the best representation of gay characters we've had in years. It's the stupidest shit, and I find it hilarious. So, hello, everyone.
Wonderful. And this week's King of Limbo, who I almost forgot about because I'm losing my mind, Stupid Private.
Hey, FNGR, thanks for having me.
Oh, okay. I'm really sorry that sounded unenthused. Let's see if we can pump up your spirits. Review-wise, what episodes in Season 7 and Season 6 would you say were the least that you felt that you had the least to say anything about?
Well, I try to find at least a little something to say, at least on a technical aspect, so I feel like there's mostly something to say there, but some of the, I don't know, there's just been a consistent, meh spirit to some of these seasons. I don't know, I feel like Honest Apple, I feel like there just wasn't a lot to say about that one, Well, I disagree. I thought it was a terrible episode, and I had a lot to say about it. But
Tricky. You've been on how many now? You don't disagree with the guest. Come on.
No. Well, if he doesn't come that in your face about it, he would have known what you think of this specific aspect, and then you try and do it less confrontational. It's even Ryan doing that. Where
Actually, I thought it was awful. How dare!
You present the conversation in a way where it's not, no, you're a moron. No, don't do that.
Well, I will say that's been a controversial episode more than anything else. Way more than I thought it would be.
Oh.
But if I were to think of episodes that were completely uninteresting to talk about, things like Cut Before the Ponies comes to mind.
I'll completely agree with you on that one. That is kind of just an episode where, they kind of do stuff.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let's go to something more uplifting here. Conversely, which episodes did you feel that you had a wealth of insight to share?
Well, I don't know how much insight I actually had into it, but the last one with the Luna Celestia Twilight, not Twilight Sparkle, but Starlight Glimmer episode, I enjoyed that one more than I have a lot of them. I also really enjoyed Celestial Advice. I didn't get a chance to review that one because that day I had a weird throat thing going on and I sounded like Death on Toast.
Celestial Advice, was that the premiere?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just surprised that we had 2 episodes that involved Celestia and my brain shut down.
I know, weird.
Kinda weird, yeah. But yeah, those two were pretty good episodes and offered a lot to talk about. I can agree there.
All right, I got a question. So in a lot of your videos, you are, for the most part, mainly very positive. So I'd like to know what grinds your gears, so to speak. What's the one thing that you see in MLP that just makes you go, oh, God damn it, why? You know?
I think just when they get really formulaic with their plots, it gets, I guess, because they do have a tendency to, there's this sort of structure that a lot of their episodes tend to follow where, especially if it's dealing with like a character that needs to learn a lesson from the main six. And I guess that also sort of bugs me, the fact that, you know, these six characters have so much damn insight to share with the rest of the world, where they run into a character that needs their special help, and, you know, there's a level of initial resistance, and then there's the breakthrough, and we wrap everything.
So the map episodes.
Basically.
I was going to say 28 Who's later would be, is that what you meant by formulaic, or?
Yeah, that's another one where it's got that really formulaic quality.
Where you could literally, like, predict, okay, this is what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
This is going to happen here. The takeaway or the detractor I'd go with that was the second episode of the series, well, the second part of the two-parter, I guess, would have been when the map went missing. I kept expecting it to show up at like the candy shop or something like that, and they put a neat little swerve in there. Are you looking for like little things like curveballs, so to speak?
Yeah, a curveball's always appreciated. I don't know, it's difficult to say what exactly elevates an episode from just sort of average, where we're following the goddamn paint by number episode sort of guide. I think any number of different aspects can elevate an episode. Like if there's really good character writing, which I think surprisingly we've gotten out of season 7, like the dialogue seems to be unusually good. I think if they've got like a really good set piece that can excuse sort of a boring plot, if you can kind of get us there. If you've got a character that is really enjoyable that we haven't seen in a while, like that's one of the reasons why I think the Discord episodes are as popular as they are, is because he does sort of own the screen and they can do sort of things with him they don't usually do.
And what about simple comedy?
Definitely. Comedy is one of the all-time great saving graces of the show.
Now, this is one I think Tricky might be able to chime in on it as well. What animes are you reluctant to cover because of copyright or just straight-up time constraints?
Time constraints. I think any anime which goes over like 100 episodes. I'm talking your Narutos, your One Pieces, your God, what's that one? That Fairy Tail. Any of those long-running shonen ones where I don't know when is a good time to get in. How much am I supposed to watch? When am I supposed to stop?
Cool.
All right.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
You do the Bronies React, the Analysis React, on Still Specs channel, right?
Yeah.
What goes into making those?
Well, there's a Skype group, a little like this one, and they kind of tell me when exactly they want the material done. And there's not really a lot of coordination. It's all kind of everyone working on their own. I sit down, I watch the episode, and I try to, kind of brain dump the episode a little bit so I get like as fresh a reaction as possible. And then I just kind of go with the first thing that comes to mind. So I don't know. I try to channel Mystery Science Theater 3000 a little bit when I'm watching those for that.
I was actually going to ask you, because your style reminds me a lot of people like Manga Common and the old sort of Mystery Science Theater sort of riff comedy mixed in with the recap. What kind of inspirations help you develop your style?
I really got into this whole reviewing thing through The Escapist and that guy with the glasses. Those guys were kind of my big inspirations. Yahtzee was one of my all-time favorite guys,
yes.
Like back in the day. He is still one of the funniest critics out there. Spoonie, who's kind of tragically dropped out of the scene, was another one that I really loved. The Nostalgia Critic, just all really, I admired their ability to weave in sort of good critique with the comedy.
Funny enough, I recall Metokur doing a series on like that guy with the glasses and Spoonie.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring it up, but since you did, Ninja, are you familiar with that piece?
Oh yeah, I am waiting for the next one. I think Mr. Metokur is one of those guys where I feel like he usually has a point with the stuff that he says, and I can't really disagree with him all that much, because, gosh darn it, he does his research.
Oh yeah, frustratingly so. Let's see.
Back to animes.
I stumbled on my words and you tried to cut me off like, nah. What anime or regular animated series would you literally rather be doing anything else than watching, much less reviewing it?
Okay, so one of my friends is like one of those guys who, for some reason, likes Ouran High School Host Club and Black Butler. And whenever he's like, dude, let's watch one of these episodes, I'm like, God damn it. It's like, why?
Not down with the boy loving, huh?
No.
I haven't watched Black Buster. I haven't watched Black Butler, but I actually watched Ouran High School Host Club, and I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, every once in a while, they will say or do something funny. Like when I was watching the first episode of Black Butler, when he says, I'm one hell of a butler, I laughed. And then he said it like 10 more times, and I'm like, you had one joke. And you ran it into the ground.
Your question, Tricky?
In general, are there any animes you want to review, but you haven't gotten around to, or it's still an upcoming show?
I don't really track upcoming anime that much. I kind of want to see the stuff that rises to the surface, but I actually brought a couple of them up. Stuff like I want to get into some Naruto reviews because that was a series that I really enjoyed. Like I want to talk about DBZ, but I feel like there are so many other voices out there. I'm not sure what exactly I have to add. Fairy Tail is one of the ones that I want to talk about, but there's just so much of it. I feel like just going off half-cocked with my opinion is not warranted until I've experienced more of it.
Okay, I suppose it would be a good idea to focus on individual story arcs of those shows.
Mm-hmm.
I'd recommend My Hero Academia. It's a great middle ground between Naruto and Fairy Tail.
Oh yeah,
I've heard good things about it.
Oh no, it's great.
And also just to say I kind of want to wade into the super dark, edgy animes, just watch Attack on Titan. That.
You gave me a wonderful segue. What's your favorite adult cartoon?
Ooh, my favorite adult cartoon.
You can do top three if you can't narrow it.
There's so many options. I think Venture Brothers probably has to be my favorite.
My dog, my home slice.
Yeah, Venture Brothers is fantastic because it's like an affectionate parody of Johnny Quest. It's like the Kung Fu Panda, like that thing.
It keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah, shorter. But better with the later seasons. Jesus. If you're starved for nostalgia and you really like reference humor, and you don't want to feel ashamed of liking reference humor, somebody in Brony. Moving right along. Were there any other adult cartoons that you probably see with second and third?
There's something about it, but goddammit, I really love Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I don't know what it is, but I could zap myself back to that. I can get into that mindset where it's really funny. Super Jail was another one where it's this is so weird. It's fantastic.
Do love that opening theme.
Any thoughts on the fifth Samurai Jack season, because that's topical?
Well,
sorry, I had a little bit of an audio blank. What was the question?
Have you watched the new Samurai Jack season? Any thoughts of that?
I've only seen clips and trailers, but from what I've seen, it looks really good. I like the fact that they're trying to bring a satisfying conclusion to what they've begun. I thought the 50-year time skip was a bold move, because time skips in stories, they're sort of hit and miss whether or not it was actually a good idea, because the 50-year thing. But I think considering there was a real life time skip, I think it's warranted here. I don't want to spoil it, but I'm liking what happens involving the Scotsman.
I think we've all seen it by now, but sure.
Yeah, no.
Okay, we'll move past that. We'll stay tuned for your channel and thoughts on that.
I would like to know about the origin of the name Stupid Private.
Originally, the name was going to be Private Retard, because that's what I got called a lot in basic training.
Oh, I didn't know you were actually in the military.
Yeah.
Army
I assumed.
I was an Army National Guardsman.
Good man. Oh, you said National Guard. I mean, whoops.
Yeah, I defend the world 1 weekend a month, 1 week a year.
Okay, but since we bring up nicknames and such, what are your thoughts on UV Dash?
What? It's okay.
Well, I can't pretend it's not true to life. I was triggered by that's the kind of shit you have to deal with. I feel like they tried to present it in a playful way. Spitfire is one of those characters I never really cared for. I feel like she's kind of a jerk, but I think they get the spirit of it, and I think it works as an episode. I think the one who's really kind of the embarrassing cringy one is Rainbow Dash. It's just like, just take it with good humor, sweetheart, and it'll go a lot easier on you.
Just let it happen.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Accept it.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. What's the most online trouble you've gotten into, whether it be delays, losing progress on videos, anxious fans, obnoxious critics, etc.?
I would say the biggest problem I have online are just trying to there's a tendency to kind of overcommit yourself. It's like someone in the comments saying, hey, review this, or hey, you should take a look at this. You know, of course you want to give it a shot, you know, that this person who has cared enough to leave a comment or to suggest something for you. But, you know, every once in a while you run into those guys where it's like, I don't know if you really understand what I'm trying to do here. And, you know, it's like, I don't want to say like, okay, I'll take a look at this and maybe I'll review it, because ultimately, you know, you're not.
Okay, no, I understand.
You see that, kids? We're going to put that right on the fridge. Yeah, I'll get around to it.
No, let's get you into some more trouble. What side of the political fence are you?
Well, I guess it had to come out eventually. I am more of a right-wing individual, and I'm, you know, Roman Catholic, so I tend to have those kind of leanings on things.
Well, you know what? 1 out of 2 ain't bad. Moving right along. If you could sound off on YouTube, and anyone on YouTube without repercussions, who would it be?
It's weird because I don't know if it's one person, but there are just so many of those hyperbolic motherfuckers who are just like super excited about everything. And I just see them showing up in my feed. It's like, OMG, new Star Wars details about Last Jedi. OMG this, OMG that. I'm like, God, all you people just shut the hell up. So if I could just bitch slap that part of the community, which is just like an obnoxious, shrieky, super excited about everything asshole.
So you want to kiss the hype train?
Yeah, I was about to say that's the first time I've heard that. Bravo.
No, I agree. Hype kills, man.
Yeah.
Sucks dick.
Speaking of hype, what are your thoughts on E3?
E3, I feel like it is one of the biggest aspects of the hype train. I tend to ignore it, and I let history or sort of quality kind of decide what I'm going to play. The word of mouth of people that I kind of know their tastes as gamers means more to me than some Microsoft shill telling me about the most awesomest thing ever.
Nice.
I did like Microsoft's conference, mainly because they brought out this fancy new Porsche 911, and they spent half the time talking about, hey guys, isn't our 911 so good? And that was misconstrued in a number of hilarious ways.
The best conference this year was the Devolver Digital. It was a complete satire parodying the whole thing.
Was that?
I found the Bethesda showcase.
No, it was an online stream, Anthony.
But
it was all set up.
As far as I know, they also shouted on the screen at E3 itself.
I actually heard like one of the big deals to come out of E3 was The Last Night. I think it's like some kind of cyberpunk sprite thing.
That got into a lot of political trouble. The story behind The Last Night, for anyone's curious, I don't know if we want to go down this road or if it would be too off topic.
No, I'd like to hear it now.
All right. So The Last Night, the main developer behind The Last Night he's an indie developer. Seems like a pretty cool guy. He's egalitarian, but he was pro Gamergate in that sense. And when people were asking questions about it on Twitter, oh god, did he get absolutely bombed and destroyed. Like, remember back when the angry video game nerd made the Ghostbusters video, and like he got absolutely bombed on because of it.
Didn't he basically say he didn't want to talk about it or something?
Yeah,
basically.
So kind of that, similar lines like that.
So he did nothing wrong, and he got a shitstorm for basically saying nothing.
Pretty much, yeah. He was just like, I kind of did like some aspects of Gamergate. It did kind of expose a lot of crap in the game journalist industry, and man, did he get torn apart. People were like saying, we no longer support it. Funny enough, the best thing to come out of that was a Ubisoft developer said, I hope your game gets pirated. And man, that is a very poor show from a major company like Ubisoft.
Oh no, it's horrible when Jim Sterling says shit like that, but no, when Ubisoft does it, it's okay.
It's especially...
To be fair, though, it's par for the course for Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft.
I'm surprised that caught on.
Honestly, I'm going to be buying the game out of spite because he's a great developer and his art style looks beautiful. Kind of that pixel art style in this highly shaded 3D environment. Looks really nice.
No, you're telling us you're actually buying that game because it looks good.
Well, yeah, that and I wouldn't have known about it. Again, it's the Streisand effect. I wouldn't have batted an eye at it without hearing all the shitstorm behind it.
Alright, just I hope you don't get that Mega Man knockoff kind of game, you know?
Sure.
Mighty Number 9.
You mean Mighty Number 9?
Yes, sir.
Try
It's
like an
better than nothing.
Oh, Tricky, die.
Low-
Just.
Oh, Jesus. What's the most disturbing thing that you've heard on MLP?
The most disturbing thing. If we're talking about the show itself, I think probably the most disturbing episode was the one where Rarity gets like high on drugs. It's like magic, creativity improving drugs, but it's still like, this is a drug episode, isn't it?
Inspiration manifestation.
Yeah. That's the one.
Don't smoke the marijuana, kids.
Indeed.
The first
It'll
step
make you
is
see
admitting you have a problem, Rarity.
What's the worst cartoon of 2017?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I have a tendency to mind dump a lot of the stuff that's like the worst. You know, it's just like, got to be like a duck, let it roll off your back.
Any
Did you want
previews
to-
or something that you just saw a glance at and said, yeah, no?
Can't think of anything.
Okay.
Well, heck, how about we
but-
limit it down then to like the worst that you have reviewed on your channel?
The worst that I've reviewed on my channel. I think it still counts, and I don't want to dump on the show too much, but Miraculous Ladybug. That show is not very
Wow,
good.
interesting.
I've caught a little bit of that. The
No, I-
animation is interesting.
You know, it's an okay show. When I was watching it, I was like trying to see like what their ambitions are as a show, because I do kind of grade on a curve. It's like, what did you want to accomplish with this property? And it seems like what they really wanted to be was this Kim Possible style superhero parody, and they kind of don't make it. They've got this kind of boring Monster of the Week format. And don't get me wrong, Monster of the Week, you can do some cool stuff with it, but it requires like a sense of creativity or an ability to surprise the audience that the show just kind of doesn't have. It's the same bad guy doing the same thing every week. It's built on this sort of obnoxious will they, won't they, romantic tension between the two main leads, and it's just like the most tedious thing for me, because I don't know, I'm sort of adverse to romances and stories in general.
So it's Pokemon the rom-com anime.
Yeah, it's Pokemon the rom-com. That's a good way to describe it.
That is a great way of phrasing it, actually.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What's your favorite genre in video games, seeing as we were just talking about them earlier?
I would say if I was going to pick like a pet genre, the one that I really love and I actually go out of my way to play when I can is the FPS RPG, because I feel like those two really complement each other. With the FPS, you get the good moment-to-moment gameplay, you get all the exciting energy and the action, and with the RPG, you get more of the nitty-gritty sort of stat building and control. Two of my favorite games are the original BioShock, which was a little bit RPG light, and I have yet to play the original System Shock, but that's getting like redone, so I'm looking forward to that. And the game Stalker, which I was so sad that never got like a console release or a whole lot done with it.
I actually tried playing Stalker for some time, but I kind of forgot about it.
I like
I
Stalker.
actually enjoy Fallout for the same reasons.
Yeah, Fallout's another one which is in that same zone. Although it is a little bit more RPG because you do have things like VATS or, it gives you that more not point and click, but like turn-based feel.
I think
Yeah.
a really great example of what you're going at is kind of the Borderlands series, Borderlands 2, if you've ever had the chance to play
Yeah,
it.
Borderlands is just a fantastic series in general. The pre-sequel was really fun. I think that it's good that they haven't like tried to rush out like Borderlands 3.
A tech
yet.
demo exists. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but
Yeah,
they announced a tech demo.
Oh, neat.
Oh, nice.
And of
That's
course,
cool, I gotta
there's
look that
a Telltale spin-off.
Indeed.
I've actually played that. That's actually pretty fun.
I only heard great stuff about that. They have to play it. I do own it, but I haven't come around to play
I
this.
do have a somewhat... Well, I guess this is impending. You wouldn't be going to BronyCon, would you, stupid?
No, I don't usually get a chance to make it to conventions.
Oh, this would have been the year. Anyways,
Everyone is going.
Oh yeah, no, everybody and their mom is going this year. What people would you say that you've had fun that you've gotten the chance to at least talk to online from the Brony fandom that you've enjoyed talking with?
Well, there are a lot of really great people in the fandom. You know, I've talked to you. You're an awesome guy to talk to. Pretty much.
You know where you sit. That's good.
No.
Pretty much everyone in the Rift is a lot of fun. Limbo.
Scrolls over. No, okay, that's fine.
That was a great room. A lot of fun people. I've talked to Map a couple of times, like in chat. He's fun. He's a little like kind of how I imagine Alpha Omega Sin to be, where he's got those really strong reactions to things.
Please don't yell at me in the comments, Alpha Mega Sins, if you ever watch this. Moving right along. Do you have any ties with the animation community? The anime review, I guess people like Mars Reviews and such, or what do you call it? The Mysterious Mr. Enter. That has its own kind of community. I'm assuming that you might have some ties there. Or?
I only really know one guy in the anime reviewer community, and he's sort of defunct now. I'm trying to.
Well, I meant
I think he's more leaning towards the cartoon one.
Yeah.
Okay. Not really.
Okay.
I would say Cell Specs is the only one that I really.
Mysterious Mr. Enter, the anime analyst, dear lord.
I think he reviewed one or two animes.
The Miyazakis, I thought, yeah.
That's like someone saying that they like Disney movies and that they're a massive fan of animation. It's like, well, everyone likes Disney movies. It's like, you know, Miyazaki is the most. Don't get me wrong, Miyazaki fucking kicks ass, but it's like it's the milquetoast basic bitch anime movie.
Well,
you know?
did you really want to see freaking, what does he call it for his bitching series for anime?
Anime atrocities.
Anime atrocities. Yeah,
Anime atrocities.
Atrocities. Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay,
the Miyazakis and the Disneys, they're a lot of people's entry point for a reason, because they are really good, but they've got that level of polish and having the rough edges sort of shaved off, which add character to things.
I probably shouldn't have said basic bitch, because they are really good, but they are, you know, the entry point. It's like saying that you're a fan of Miyazaki movies and like anime is like one in the same almost.
I was going to say, this is where I'm going to probably piss people off. When you said basic bitch, I was thinking Naruto. Like, you know,
that's the meme basic bitch.
The ones you throw on TV and it's right there. That's basic.
Yeah.
We at least have to go to a theater. That's at least a little bit harder. You people don't know what it used to be like when you had to hunt down anime, when you had to go on an adventure, when you had to do
back in the dark ages.
some big 300, 400 pound neckbeard behind a counter to get a pirated anime.
Or when you had to wait till like 3 a.m. to actually watch some obscure anime because it was like only on one channel really late at night because
Sci-fi. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were damn glad to get it too.
Yeah.
You sounded so old just then, Anthony.
You know what? Screw you. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that.
Back when watching that stuff in Japanese was a novelty, and you instead had to deal with terrible dubs.
And stilted acting.
What do you...
Okay.
No, go ahead.
All right. So, stupid Prabby, you are stuck on an island with a television power, and you can only watch one cartoon, and it's either Steven Universe or MLP. Which one do you pick?
You know, I would have to say MLP because Steven Universe, some of the later episodes are not doing it for me.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, bravo. What are your thoughts on, and we're about to get back to politics, what are your thoughts on the Supreme Court holding up the right of freedom of speech even in the more uncomfortable areas, if you've kept up with anything about that at all?
You know, I think that however much a given individual's speech may upset you, they still have a right to say it because, I don't know, I went through this period where I was in college and I did seriously question, you know, whether certain forms of speech are legitimate. And I don't know, I kind of came to the conclusion, I think Sargon of Akkad has a lot of really intelligent stuff to say on the matter, that people, once you start taking away people's right to speak, you open up a lot of really dangerous avenues that are ultimately more harmful than what you get out of letting people who just want to spew vitriol and be assholes and do all that stuff. You hurt yourself more by censorship than those people could do to you.
What I meant to say is, how did it make you feel proud to know that the Supreme Court unanimously upheld the right of freedom of speech? But
you mean like they kept it?
No, they voted in favor of unanimously, not along party lines. They unanimously upheld the right of freedom of speech instead of, deciding to neuter something that goes back to our tenements of the birth of the nation, essentially.
I think from the standpoint of bipartisan politics, which we don't see nearly enough of in the United States, I think, yes, I was proud that day.
Damn right. What are your...
bless America.
I'm sorry, you guys don't quite have that.
I know, it's upsetting, isn't it?
I know. What are your thoughts on the mainstream media?
Okay, my thoughts on the mainstream media apply just as much to MSNBC as to Fox News. The mainstream media exists to reinforce your biases. So if you're, Mr. Middle America, I love my guns, my country, and my McDonald's, I'm going to go sit on Fox News and I'm going to have my biases reinforced like to the max. I don't want to speak ill of my father, but he is a little bit like that. That's what that channel exists for.
That made me like McDonald's.
But if you're, a special snowflake with your stupid colored hair that's shaved on one side and your, trans bathroom symbol and, you turn on MSNBC and you can feel good about your life choices. You don't have to. The mainstream media exists to stop people from being uncomfortable and presented with opinions that make them uncomfortable.
I thought you were going to literally say all the other forms of media for the other one. Anyways, let's see.
And unlike importing chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
They're turning the frogs gay. Yeah.
We're breaking the
God damn it,
concentration.
God damn it, Alex Jones. When are the black helicopters going to take you away?
Man, God, Alex Jones is such a... I'm so glad that he's still on air and that he hasn't been taken down.
What are your thoughts on TV versus online entertainment? Do you feel that the TV medium is slowly dying out?
I think that the death of a lot of forms of media is a bit exaggerated. I think online is kind of the new sexy thing. It makes it easier to get kind of what I want when I want it. But then again, with like Netflix and streaming, I can sort of do that on my TV. For what it's worth, I prefer to watch like my movies and my shows in front of my nice big screen plasma TV instead of, crouched in front of the computer. And frankly, I don't get people who like to watch movies on their cell phone. That's like not the optimum.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think what we're going to see in the future is sort of a melding of the two more than just one's victory.
Technological convergence.
I always love when TV shows bring this, hey, what is a vinyl record gag? And I always think that's the one record that was probably the one media thing that will probably never die.
Yeah, it's like, vinyl is the sound storage system, you motherfucker.
No, I could beat that. I remember talking with Digi when I was like, I used to be able to watch hentai on VCR. He's like, what's a VCR? I will punch you.
Fuck, man, even I had a VCR. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Fuck. My last one broke down, but you could still get them. They're very affordable. I'm moving right along. Do you have any... Let's go really ancient here. Do you have any preferred books you've read?
What's a book?
Oh, boy. Books.
Don't feel bad. Nobody gets that one. It's why Cloud is wishing.
So... Yeah, I've got a couple, like there are some authors that I tend to go back to over and over again. Like I really enjoy the Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis. It's one of my all-time favorites. The works of H.P. Lovecraft are another one that I tend to revisit over and over again when I'm just in that mood and I need to get into that the world is an awful place and is conspiring against me headspace. Tolkien is an absolute classic of fantasy literature. And I also I'm trying to get in more into Neil Gaiman because I really enjoyed Coraline and I want to experience kind of more of his other works.
That's pretty diverse.
Oh, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you have you ever watched a show called Doctor Who?
That's some obscure show from Britain. I've seen a few episodes of it, mainly during like the 10th Doctor sort of period, but I have skipped around a little bit. I enjoy it, and I see what people like about it because there's a lot of diversity. There's all kinds of exciting things that you can kind of get into. I think it is one of the all-time great flight of fancy concepts. But I would say for like British TV shows, I really fell in love with The Prisoner, and that's kind of the one that I go back to again and again, sort of from British television.
Good. Oh, I got one. I got another one. Have you read or seen Game of Thrones?
I know basically kind of the popular opinion on the Game of Thrones TV show, and I'm kind of familiar with the meme side of it, but I have not read A Song of Ice and Fire, and I haven't really seen the show very much.
I would recommend you to do that.
But anyways, your channel's been around since 2012, and you've actually got videos as far back as 5 years ago. What advice would you give out to people breaking in to keep staying motivated and consistent?
Well, this is going to sound awful to say, but the YouTube dream is dead. I'm being a little bit hyperbolic when I say that. I would say that in order to stay motivated with YouTube, I would say don't plan on it being your job. Don't plan on being one of these guys who's going to like make it to the top and be like, I'm going to be the next PewDiePie or I'm going to be the next Boogie2988. I would say, because that's going to lead you into a very dark content making place where you're going to basically rip out the soul of your material, and it's not going to be your insights. It's not going to be your opinions. You're going to feel pressured to have the right opinions and to say what's going to please your audience so you can build your audience. I would say when you're making a YouTube video, make it as if you're only making it for yourself. Like, just put what's really in you in the video.
Has there ever been
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, has there ever been a time where you made a video and maybe thought, damn, I wish I didn't bite my tongue. I wish I would have said what I wanted to.
I would say that I try to be diplomatic in my videos. Like I don't want to go into like any show or movie or whatever just wanting to rip it apart, because there are certainly movies like that and certainly shows like that where I do see them and it's like I could bitch about this thing for hours. So I'm a little bit more selective in what I choose to review. So that doesn't usually happen.
Well, I'm all out.
I'd just like to ask, because you said you're in service in the army or military group. What is it? Once a week for like a month or something?
I was in the National Guard for a couple of years, and kind of how that works is it's like being in the regular army for your basic training, where you go to a training facility. I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, in the middle of winter. It was like the coldest winter of the decade that year. And then I went to Fort Huachuca, Arizona, which was where I got my advanced individual training. I was like on the longest. My training was the longest one that they offered. I was a 35 Tango, which is a military intelligence systems repairer and integrator. It was an 11-month training period on how to basically fix computers and satellite dishes. After that, what they do is they send you to your regular unit, and what they'll do is, like, for one weekend a month, the unit gets together and you basically just essentially make readiness checks. And it's mainly a lot of maintaining equipment, counting things, and just general making sure that everyone's there and that they know how to do their job. And sort of when you go live is during your big training, like 1 month, couple of week period. It's usually during the summer, so they can get as many people as possible. And I only went on that one time, actually, because my unit did like a restructuring shortly thereafter, and they didn't really need my job anymore. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, like, what are you doing nowadays?
Right now, work, I have part-time jobs. One of them is actually like it's an IT type position where it's sort of search engine optimization and that sort of thing for a local, like they do. They're not really a political organization. They're like an inventors sort of advocacy group where they sort of advocate on behalf of copyright laws. So that's kind of an interesting job. And the other one is I work for my dad's company. He does he does estate sales. So typically when somebody either dies or they move to a smaller house, these are typically older people who are downsizing, is they have us go in, kind of take an accounting of their possessions. They pick what they want to keep, and we liquidate the rest.
Oh, cool.
And when I get any free time, I'm actually working on a video game. So.
Wow, really?
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Well, pass that on.
You kept that quite quiet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sort of adverse to the concept of trying to hype things up before you're really ready. And at the moment, it's kind of not a smallish project. I'm using RPG Maker, which is it's a tool that allows you, even with little programming experience, to kind of get what you want in terms of a game on screen. It's really inspired by sort of early BioWare and Bethesda games where we've got like a party of characters and we've got kind of the semi-open world approach. I feel like the three pillars that I wanted to build my game on are story, quest design, and a combat system that's like good. I kind of am taking the Dark Souls approach with the combat system, where it's not really challenge for challenge's sake, but there is a level of challenge there, and things like going on quests and getting items, because I dislike grinding in RPGs, and that's something that I said I wanted to not have in the game, where how you advance in the game I'm working on is you go on quests, you get items which power up your characters, and then that powers you up to a level where you can take on some of the more difficult bosses.
Well, I don't say this often in Limbo because I know it's a bit of a meme, but that is genuinely fascinating, and I'd love to see where that goes as a project.
Yeah, getting into it, I've been working on it for almost 2 years now, and I thought, I was going to have this done in like 6 months, and then it was like, okay, I'm going to have this done in like a year, and then when I got to the 1 year mark, I'm like, it'll be done when it's done. God damn it.
You've turned into Blizzard. Soon.
It's done when it's done, and you know what? Every time you accomplish something, you get that little burst of inspiration, like, oh, what if I had this? What if I had this? And then, it's... Well, if I could give you a tad bit of advice, it's to make sure that everything core is finished first, and then sort of build it up from there.
Well,
that is really good advice. I really appreciate that.
Good thing that you haven't announced anything yet, then.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the problem with announcing it like halfway through is when I started off, I had like an idea. It's like, this is what I think my game is going to be. And now that I'm almost 2 years down the road, it's like, it's a good thing I didn't announce that because I've changed a lot of things.
Yeah. Okay. Never again, unless the perfect time to advertise your game as a thing in concept is when you have a beta, because that means people can test it, you can gain feedback on it, and, you can still change stuff because it's still in beta, The games have drastically changed since then.
All right, I think that's actually a pretty good place to wrap it up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I'm going to hit stop record both of these copies. Bunk.